Today we'll be taking a little nostalgic trip down memory lane. Man, I forgot just how good this version of this map looks. I can't even tell you the last time that I played the Giant. Anytime that I get the craving to play Der Riese, I usually either play the Black Ops 1 version or the World at War version. But man, I definitely gotta start playing the BO3 version more. This is absolutely beautiful. I don't think I've played this version in at least 2 or 3 years. Now, just a quick disclaimer, right now I'm on my PS4 account, so I'm only like level 29. That's because I didn't get a PS4 along with BO3 for the PS4 until just 2 years ago. Basically, when this game was in its prime, like in late 2015 and the entirety of 2016 until Infinite Warfare's release, I played this game on Xbox 360. Like, I played for the entirety of Black Ops 3's life cycle on the Xbox 360 version. And then when Infinite Warfare released on my birthday, that's when I got my Xbox One. And along with that, I also got Infinite Warfare, the Legacy Edition, the one that had Modern Warfare Remastered bundled in with it. And the Christmas of 2016 is when I finally got the Xbox One version of Black Ops 3, so I didn't even get to experience this game in its quote-unquote prime. I had to wait until the following year when it was already quote-unquote irrelevant, even though most people were still playing Black Ops 3 just because they saw it as a superior game compared to Infinite Warfare. So then I actually ended up spending most of Infinite Warfare's life cycle just kind of reliving Black Ops 3 in a way, since I never got to experience the true version of it. Because let's be honest, like the Xbox 360 and PS3 version of this game is definitely playable, but it's far from the intended way to experience the game, we'll say. By the time that IW's life cycle was over and World War II was coming out, I was literally max prestige in zombies, max prestige in multiplayer. I played Black Ops 3 like crazy in that year. Not to mention the amount that I had already played the game on the Xbox 360 version. I am also max prestige on both multiplayer and zombies in the Xbox 360 version of the game. I'm not sure what rank I got to in the PS3 version, but I did also play that one back in the day as well. Needless to say, I kind of have a tendency of adopting the new console generations like way late into their life cycle. Like at the current moment, I'm still playing on a PS4 and an Xbox One X. I would still have my base model Xbox One, but it kind of crapped out on me. That's what you get when you buy a GameStop refurbished system. It lasted for like 5.5 years and then it bit the dust. Originally, I was gonna play a more complex map in this video like Shadows of Evil or Horizon Drock or something like that. But considering the fact I haven't played BO3 in a while, I kind of wanted to play a more chill map, along with just wanting to have a more chill, laid-back commentary over it. Because don't get me wrong, as much as I love those other maps, like the more complicated ones, like your DEs, your Zetsubos, your Origins, and all that, it's definitely harder to have a more chill, laid-back conversation over that when you're going through like 5 million different mental checklists. I'll never forget the day that Black Ops 3 released. I wanted to pre-order it so bad, but I didn't have the money at the time to do it because that was back in the day when I was still pretty poor. And originally, I didn't even think that I was going to be getting Black Ops 3 until Christmas time at best. And I'll never forget, since it was close enough to my birthday, because my birthday is October 26th, so every year my birthday is always around the time that the new Call of Duty is coming out. I can't remember the exact date that Black Ops 3 released, but all I remember is I came home from school and I went into my room, looked at my gaming chair, and what do you know, right before I sat down, by the way, let me just say, I'm glad that I looked before I sat down. What do you know, my mom ended up getting the game for me, and I remember walking in just looking at it, like, words cannot describe how excited I was. Just seeing a sealed copy of Black Ops 3 sitting there, the amount of excitement and anticipation I had for Black Ops 3's release, I don't know if any game has actually been able to meet that level of hype that I had for Black Ops 3. You gotta understand, I've been playing zombies since 2008. My first map was Nocturne Toten in World at War, and then after that, you know, nobody knew if there was actually gonna be more zombies maps or anything like that. But then what do you know, DLC 1 came out, and then we ended up getting Verrückt. I loved playing that, and I remember when they ported it to mobile. Mobile was actually the main way that I played zombies for a while. I didn't get an Xbox 360 or a PS3 until much later on in their life cycles, so the only times that I ever got to play games from what was at that time the next generation was anytime that I went to a friend's house, or if I was visiting a family member that happened to have the system. I didn't have my own Xbox 360 or PS3 until like 2010, 2011, but I still remember going to my friend's house, booting up World of War, booting up Black Ops 1. Oh, I'll never forget Black Ops 1's release. Playing 5 and Kino der Toten for the first times are experiences I will never forget. They are forever engraved in my memory. Younger me's brain just couldn't fully comprehend or fathom the fact that zombies was actually a thing. Like, it was just such a revolutionary concept for me at the time. And now, obviously, nowadays, zombies has become something much bigger than even the developers, I'm sure, ever expected it to be. I mean, sure, some of the more recent entries haven't been so hot. Well, by recent entries, I really just mean Call of Duty Vanguard zombies. That one, I'm one of the defenders for the game. Personally, I still like that game and that game Zombies, and I had a lot of fun with it, but I can understand and respect why many people do not. That being said, it most definitely doesn't hold a candle to say something like Black Ops 3, Black Ops 2, which Black Ops 2 is still my personal favorite COD Zombies game. Even if objectively objectively, Black Ops 3 is technically better. Whether that be maps, map variety, the game engine, just like how the game itself feels to play. There's something about Black Ops 2 that keeps it as being my personal favorite, and I have no idea what it is. I don't know if it's just nostalgia, or if it's something about the way that the game feels or looks, or it's something about that game that no matter what zombies game has come out since, nothing has topped it for me. I feel like part of it has to do with the fact that there's like such a crazy dynamic to the game. I think it has something to do with the fact that Jimmy Zielinski headed half of the maps in the game while Jason Blundell headed the other half, and it's a nice mix of both like fresh and new zombies as well as the older, more chaotic, old school zombies like World of War and BO1 style. Well, sure, some of the Zielinski maps weren't necessarily the best, like Transit and Die Rise. Like, as much as I love those maps, I can acknowledge, yeah, they don't hold a candle to say something like Mob of the Dead, Origins, to Rise and Drock. I still personally have a lot of fun with them. In fact, I just did a bit of a marathon a couple weeks ago. I went back and I hit round 30 on every single Black Ops 2 map just for the fun of it in my free time. I didn't do it through Xbox One backwards compatibility either. I wanted like that old school experience it. I wanted to experience it like it's 2012 again. I booted up the Xbox 360, I grabbed my own controller, and oh man, it was such a nice trip down memory lane. That's part of why I'm making this video today. It's partly for me, but it's also partly for the younger viewers. Personally, I haven't gotten to make Call of Duty content in a while, and I honestly miss making videos on this game in this series. Call of Duty content is something that I've always been passionate about. In fact, that's what I mainly posted for the first 2 years of my channel before making Elden Ring content and such. And while I'm still going to be sticking to my new strategy of making like variety content, I'm never just going to stick to one thing. Like, I'm never going to stick to just COD or just Elden Ring or whatever. I still at least want to start making content on some of these games more frequently since I love them so much, especially Call of Duty. Furthermore, when it comes to that Call of Duty content, I would love to start making videos on these older games because, again, I know there's a lot of younger viewers that watch my channel. And the more time passes, the more likely it is that some of those viewers haven't ever even heard of or played these games before. And that's just, it's really sad to me because, like, this game literally came out back in 2015, which just seems like a year ago to me. And yet I bet there's some people watching this video that weren't even born yet. Y'all may think that sounds crazy, but trust, I was watching videos like this back when I was 5 or 6 years old, so it wouldn't be too far-fetched. I just have a deep love and appreciation and respect for all of these older COD Zombies games, and I don't know, I want to introduce the new generation to these classic games, and originally, this video was gonna be on the original versions that I was talking about earlier, like World at War or Black Ops 1. However, I didn't want to alienate anybody from watching this video because I know sometimes people click on a video, they're like, oh, old game, bad graphics, I don't want to watch that, and then they click off and don't even give it a chance, and that's honestly really sad to me. I hate that stigma from modern day gamers where they're like, oh, the graphics are bad or they're outdated, so I'm not gonna play it. It's like, do you know how many games and fresh experience... Did the box really just give me a Shiva? Of all the times you could have given me a Shiva, why did you do it now? Like, these kids have no idea how many amazing experiences they are missing out on just because they alienate the games due to their graphics. That means these kids will probably never experience games like GTA, Vice City, Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country, GoldenEye 007, and basically like any classic title before the Xbox One and PS4 generation. Heck, even though I've made a lot of From Software content lately, I've had a lot of comments from Software fans, like people that love Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring, being like, yeah, I can't play Demon's Souls, I can't play Dark Souls 1, the graphics just aren't good enough. I'm like, dog, those games came out in 2009 and 2011. I don't know. I'm sorry for going off on such a random tangent like that, but this goes beyond Call of Duty, okay? I have such a deep love, respect, and appreciation for video games, like the medium as a whole. I honestly cannot think of a single video game that I just genuinely hate. Like, I just love video games. So it makes me sad when people have, like, certain biases or just won't play certain games for simple reasons, such as the graphics not being quote-unquote good enough. Which then ties back into Call of Duty, because I've seen people turn away games like Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 just because the graphics aren't good enough. Homie, do you want to know something? Back in the day when I played Call of Duty Black Ops 2 for the first time, it was the most realistic game I had ever seen. There was also a time when I had played Resident Evil 4 for the first time, and I thought that that was the most realistic thing I've ever seen. I thought that it looked so lifelike. Oh my god, I feel so old. Can we just take a minute to appreciate how satisfying it is when you finally pack a punch your weapons? Like, something about the muzzle flash of the gun, the camos, the sound effects, and it feels so good when you pack a bunch your guns in these games. I feel like the later entries really lost that. Like, the more that the Call of Duty Zombies games went on, the less and less the pack-a-punches really felt like they mattered. In World of War, it felt amazing. Black Ops 1, it felt amazing. Black Ops 2 still had that to an extent, and then Black Ops 3, they kind of brought that feeling back for Black Ops 1. Like, Black Ops 2, Pack-a-Punch weapons still felt great, and you loved having them, but due to the Wonder Weapons getting better and better, you cared less and less about the Pack-a-Punch weapons and cared more about getting the Wonder Weapons, usually. And then, obviously, in this game, they had Double Tap, and they brought back Double Tap 2.0 from Black Ops 2. Furthermore, it feels like they made Pack-a-Punch guns even stronger in this game. I might be wrong about that, but the Pack-a-Punch guns in these games, like, even their base models before Double Tap, they just feel even stronger than in Black Ops 2, where that also had double Pack-a-Punch. Then you get to Black Ops 4, and it had, like, the multi-tiered Pack-a-Punch and started to lose its flair. Just that, I don't know, the system in that game wasn't implemented as well. I like the idea and I like the concept, but it definitely was not executed very well in that game in particular. Cold War did it a lot better. I like the menus and the fact that like the camo changed every time that you Pack-a-Punch a weapon. Like the sense of progression in Cold War between the Pack-a-Punch and the tier system with the salvage, that was done a lot better than it was in Black Ops 4. In fact, I would say Cold War has one of the best senses of progression in any zombies game. Like I absolutely love the Pack-a-Punch and upgrading system in that game. Then you get to Call of Duty Vanguard and it took out the tier salvage system, but it kept the Pack-a-Punch system, and I don't know, something about the Pack-a-Punch guns in that game, it really didn't feel as satisfying, because even if you Pack-a-Punch your guns like crazy, it takes forever to acquire all the points that you would need to Pack-a-Punch, and by the time that you get those points, it's not even enough for you to have that power trip sense that you had from previous games Pack-a-Punch. It's just enough to make you feel like, oh, okay, I'm at an equal level with the zombies now to continue on through the rounds, rather than how it used to be, where it wasn't a matter of, oh, okay, now I'm finally strong enough again to keep fighting. Back in the day, it was all like, okay, now I'm stronger than the zombies, we'll be set for a while, whereas, you know, in something like Vanguard, it's just like, oh, okay, I'm strong enough to keep going for now. Does that kind of make sense? Again, I don't necessarily hate Vanguard zombies. In fact, I had a lot of fun with the game, especially once, like, Shi No Numa came out. I thought Shi No Numa, like, regardless of it being a remake or not, I thought that that was a very solid map. The new Easter egg, the quest for the Wonderwaff, like, the Pack-a-Punch and everything, I like the map. I thought it was pretty good. I'm not ashamed to admit, I put so many hours into that. Anytime a new season started and I needed to level up my, like, seasonal level or my battle pass, I went straight into Shi No Numa. I got so many different, like, round 50s. I never went up all the way to round 100. I didn't have the urge to necessarily do that, but, you know, it was good enough for me to at least push it to round 50 a couple times. Honestly, Black Ops 3 was the last time that I felt the urge to go to a round 100 multiple times. I only did round 100 once in Cold War, and that was around the time that D Machine came out. You know, I used the ray gun to the usual shroud on the roof. Again, going back to it, Cold War, that was such a satisfying zombies to play. I also love the engine of Cold War. Sadly, I think Cold War is going to be like the last Call of Duty that we get that has that classic feeling engine, because regardless of the game having more of the modern Call of Duty elements in it, like the gunsmith and operators and the stores and packs and all that, like when you set all of that aside and just look at like the core gameplay and how that engine feels to play, it truly did have that classic Call of Duty arcadey feel. It oddly almost reminded me of like how Black Ops 4 felt, but just like a bit smoother. I don't know, just to kind of reel all my thoughts back in, I absolutely love these older COD Zombies games, and if you guys have never given them a shot, whether you're younger, whether you're older, please give them a chance. A lot of them, you can find them for pretty cheap nowadays. They can be on eBay or Mercari or heck, even like Amazon. I'm sure you can find a copy of like Black Ops 3 or Infinite Warfare for relatively cheap. In fact, I know that you can, because I was actually just scrolling some listings a couple days ago trying to repurchase some of the Call of Duties for PS4, because I have all of them on Xbox One, but I'm kind of weird and I like having them on all the systems possible. And I've seen Black Ops 3 for both Xbox One and PS4 listed for as cheap as like $10. Same thing with Infinite Warfare. In fact, I found the Legacy edition of Infinite Warfare for only about $10, which again has two games, Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered. So I definitely recommend picking them up, even if you can't afford the DLCs right now. Like the base maps on those games are excellent. I know it might sound a little weird hearing me recommend Infinite Warfare, but if you haven't played Infinite Warfare Zombies, please do. Infinite Warfare as a whole is severely underrated, and the zombies even more so. The zombies in that game had no right being as good as it was. You know what? I honestly don't think that I've ever Pack-a-Punched the Shiba just for the sake of it. I did it. I have officially Pack-a-Punched the Shiba. And I'm officially disappointed in myself. No idea how I survived that. I would say if you haven't played the older COD Zombies games, I'd say Black Ops 3 is the best starting off point. You get most of the original maps in this game. You have all of the World of War maps, almost all of the Black Ops 1 maps. You only have Origins from Black Ops 2, but that's regarded as usually being like the best map from that game. Some people would debate that Mob of the Dead is the best. Personally, I can't pick a favorite. All the Black Ops 2 maps are like my babies, but Origins is definitely one of the best Zombies maps, period. And then obviously all of the Black Ops 3 maps are absolute bangers, so you'll be set there. And if you have a PS5 and you're a PS Plus member, Black Ops 3, and I believe it's the Zombie Chronicles edition of Black Ops 3, is available in the PS Plus collection, so you can redeem that, and there you go, you already have it for free, technically. Just be sure that you do that soon, because the PS Plus collection is going to be removed. However, if you redeem the games before they're removed, which the games are going to be removed in the middle of May, then you'll be good. You can play until the end of time as long as you stay as a PS Plus member, but if you miss the chance to redeem them, then again, the games are so cheap that you wouldn't be putting that big of a dent in your wallet if you decided to pick one up, because again, it goes for like $10, and then you got the DLC, which you can just kind of pick and choose which ones that you want. And if you end up enjoying that, then I definitely recommend going to play the original ones like Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, World of War, all absolutely amazing games. And if you end up liking those, then hey, you can try dipping your toes in the other non-Treyarch games like Advanced Warfare Exo Zombies, World War II Zombies, if you really want. Honestly, the only map in World War II Zombies that I liked was the Fauna Reich. Outside of that, the other ones weren't bad by any means, but they definitely didn't grab my interest the same way that, like, basically any Treyarch map would. That being said, I've been talking for a while. We're around 17. I'm all cool with that. We're just gonna end the game here. You know, I would let the zombies get me, but I don't want to add another death to my record if I can avoid it. Now, I'd love to hear from you guys. What Call of Duty game are you most nostalgic for? Is it zombies? Or heck, maybe it's even another element of Call of Duty. Maybe you miss Spec Ops from MW2 or MW3, or maybe just the multiplayer modes from those older games in general. Or heck, maybe there's even a campaign that you found yourself replaying a lot. Whatever it is, I'd love to hear from you guys. Anyway, as always, a shout out to the patrons and channel members: Corman's Fave, Grandma, Lil Bitty Tab, Big Daddy, Maddie, Chalupasaurus Rex, Freysack, Polar, Raido, Webster, Lamas, Bianca, Spurgatory, Drip Gassant, Mellow Laskin, Computer Magic, Mason Irving, TJ on Y15, Flimit 71, and Aaron Reynolds. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day. Stay beautiful. I love you all. And remember, don't go hollow. Peace.